Foods welcomes you to the wonderful world of Jaffa Bakery. These delicious soft cakes come with a rich chocolate or orange flavoured filling. The Jaffa donuts infused with either a chocolate or vanilla cream filling. A perfect morning snack with a cup of tea or perhaps a dessert at home. Just heat in the microwave and serve with a scoop of ice cream. The Jaffa range includes chocolate orange sponge cake, chocolate brownie, triple chocolate donut, chocolate cream donut. The Jaffa range offers premium quality, long shelf life of more than 4 months, impulse packaging including shelf-ready display units, suitable for retail, coffee dock, food service, including cafes, shops and vending machines. In addition, we are pleased to offer the Super Munchmallow range, a tea cake with a twist. Each packet of Munchmallow contains 6 shiny domes, a beautiful soft biscuit, puffy marshmallow and coated in rich Belgian chocolate. The biggest surprise, each biscuit is just 87 calories. The Munchmallow, supplied in a shelf-ready display box, is available in 2 flavours: delicious salted caramel and scrumptious strawberry and cream. That's the Jaffa range and Munchmallow, delivered to you from Keenan's Foods.
Good evening everybody and welcome to our latest episode of Armagh Camogie Matters. I'm in distinguished company here of the 3 county champions within Armagh in 2023. Beside me here I have Mairead McCann, probably better known in a lot of camogie circles as Mairead Doyle, from our senior champions Greenmore. In the middle here we have Damien Kirk from our junior champions St Bridget's, and at the far side away from me we have Teresa. I know her as Teresa Fanthorpe. I know she's a more recently acquired another name, Murphy. And Teresa is from our intermediate champions, Cross Midlands. So you're all very welcome here to have a conversation of each chat here tonight. We're in Ulster Club season and we've already had our senior champions and our intermediate champions in action, and our junior champions will be kicking off this week. So we'll have a conversation of that as the night goes on. So, moving on, I'm going to kick off with our senior champions here. I'm going to ask Mairead here beside me. Obviously, you had a great win at the weekend there, Mairead. You beat Lochiel by a couple of points. I know it was a game of 2 halves. You were down by, I think, 8 at half-time, and you come back and won by 2, which is a tremendous second half. It's a bit of a pattern the Greenmore girls have been showing, not only this year but in previous years. Great resilience in recent years, in coming very strong in the second half. So, I suppose we're all looking to know what's the secret. What makes the girls so strong and so determined and been able to kick on that second half and get over the line?
Don't really think there's much of a secret. It's just a great bunch of girls who's very committed, very driven and very focused. So whenever you get onto a bus in Greenmore at 9 o'clock and you drive to Lochiel, you're not going just to make up the fixture, you know. So a 3-hour journey to Lochiel probably played a massive factor in us being down. It was 1-5 to 2 points at half time. And in the Greenmore camp, it was about keeping their score down, not so much our score, because we knew we had plenty of fuel going into the second half with a gale, a breeze like you've never seen before at your back. So no real secret, just a great bunch of girls who's very focused on what they have to do. So, and they will continue going into this weekend the very same. But no, it was about keeping Lochiel as low as we could and going in 1-5 to 2 points. We were very happy at half time.
Happy enough at that?
Yeah, very happy with that there. So
yeah. No, in fairness, Lochiel obviously equally probably pretty well did good against the win, because there was only 2 points in it at the end.
Yeah,
you made up those 6 points and kicked on. So
well, they did, and
two strong, evenly matched teams.
Very evenly matched teams. Well, were the calibre of players that they had. So I went to the Antrim Senior Final on Sunday, and the young girl who played, Megan McGarry, who played centre half back for their seconds team, actually came on for the first time. They were a good team. We were playing against a damn good team in Lochiel second, so it was great. It showed great character in our girls, because you're going to the home of Camogie. They were in the All-Ireland Senior Final last year. Like, we were going down there. It was decked in red and white. it was great to be in somewhere like that. But our girls just showed unbelievable character, loved being there, like embraced the challenge, loved that they were playing Lochgale, and just showed great character and really driven bunch of girls.
Brilliant. Okay, that's great. Great. We're going to move on to our intermediate champions. Teresa, you are back in the intermediate champions this year. You were up at senior for a couple of years, and then with a wee bit of a reshuffle at the start of the year, and you found yourself back down the intermediate championship, and you're straight back up at the senior. And you now find yourselves in an Ulster Club final. A great win at the weekend against Derry Loughlin. Was at that particular game. Nip and took the whole, and it was about 8 minutes in time. A great goal come up the field, and it sort of just nudged us in front. So again, showed great resilience. What's this up and down journey though been like for Cross? Because you just have probably, it's not that you struggled in the senior championship, you just held your own, but there's a couple of teams there that just have been dominating. And then you have come down and back up again, and now you're in an Ulster Club journey. How's that affected the club?
Yeah, well, obviously the restructuring of the Armagh competitions this year has sort of left us in a situation that a number of clubs in Armagh have been in. Yeah. But from our perspective, first and foremost, it gave us the opportunity to win a county title, which, regardless of what grade it's at, is a fantastic achievement.
Indeed.
The younger girls then, they've been given the chance to establish themselves in the senior panel, and in a lot of cases take place in that start in 15, which has been fantastic. Obviously now we're in the situation where we can compete for an Ulster title, and we're back up in the senior level next year, which is where we want to be. So largely speaking, it's been more ups than downs, thankfully.
And I have to say, in a previous episode of this, we were discussing about your Crossblade being the dark horses, and you just proved that to be the case. Because I think after the reshuffle, a lot of smart bettors were probably putting their money in some of the other teams.
Absolutely, yeah. And I haven't actually listened to the previous episode. A lot of the clubs in Armagh were largely behind Downhouse, and there were two fantastic matches between ourselves and Downhouse. For a neutral, it was a fantastic spectacle. But it's a bit like that underdog tag, and Crossglen wouldn't usually have that underdog tag, so no credit to the girls. They knuckled down and they've been working hard, and they continue to work hard, so hopefully they get the rewards for their efforts.
Absolutely. And just when you mentioned underdogs, it's great when you see a club that has men and women coming out, so obviously your boys are back there at top of the tree again this year. So what's the crack like around the square these days? Because
the fact
two
that
teams,
both games are actually on the same day. It's a bit of a bone of contention. We have a lot of families actually that have children in both panels, so we're hoping that Ulster Camogie Council will be a wee bit accommodating in relation to that, and that the fixture will allow families and supporters to attend both games.
Oh, that's right. So your boys are playing this weekend, and they're
11th. Both games are on the 11th of November.
Oh, sorry, that's right. 2 weekends. They're away, or are they at home, or
they're away? They're in Healy Park in Omagh.
All right. So well, hopefully that can be
busy day.
sorted indeed. Yeah. David, Crossmaglen there, St Bridget's, you actually came down from intermediate, I think, down to junior championship this year, so and a bit like Cross, you've just proven straight away that maybe you are too strong there, and straight back up again. And you are now taking on Drumcerne from Derry, which I haven't really heard anything much about this wee club, so I really don't know what the expectations are. What's the expectations from St Bridget's on that particular challenge?
Well, you'd expect, like any team coming out of Derry, whether it's their junior champions or intermediate champions or whatever, they're going to be a high standard at the level. Because remember, everything's done about the level. So we're a junior team playing against a junior team from Derry, and that's very much. They were the beaten finalists in Derry last year, and obviously stayed together this year and went on and won the Derry Junior Championship. And they came through a real tough, hard fought match against Eden Dork last week. Even though they were 11 points up at half, or 11, 12 points up maybe at half time last week. But again, Gale Force Breezes, I think, played a role in that there, where Eden Dork got the Gale Force Breeze in the second half and then pushed them all the way. But it shows probably a resilience in that Derry team, that they were able to keep it going after losing the 12-point lead, come back out in extra time, and then were able to win the match. If you kind of look at it, from what we can kind of have a kind of knowledge basis of them, they're probably fit, mobile, very good at passing, composed on the ball. But if you go to play any Derry team at the level that they're playing at in Derry, you would find that that they can all pass the ball, they're all composed, they don't just hit and hope. So like, the pressure's on, don't get me wrong, but like, I have every faith that if St Bridget's girls go and give it their all, they'll have every chance. Like, when St Bridget's finished the junior championship final this year, they had 9 minors on the pitch. Okay, now some of them come on as subs, but at that there, that's a massive number of younger players to be on the pitch at the end of a match, and they still have all the experienced girls, like the three McParlins are still there. Megan Rafferty was back this year. You've got Tierna Maxwell, Grace Donaghy, Casey Mullen. So they've got experience with some older girls there, and over the last couple of years they've done well in under 14, under 16, and you can see some of them players starting to come through in St Bridget's. It makes them very young, don't get me wrong, it does. That's why obviously 9 minors by the end of the end of the junior final. But look, it'll be a great experience for them, and I know at home that they'll give it their all. Like.
Yeah, and you mentioned Drumshanbo. I think that was a very high scoring match with them in Edendorf. It was
something like
4-15 or something like that. Yeah.
I think it was end up maybe 3-15 to 4-10 or something like that.
Big scores,
and it went to extra time. Yeah. So,
yeah.
Do you mean like it?
Your defence will have to be on their toes.
Yeah. So you can see like they readily score, but on the other hand of it, you have to see that they're letting in at the back as well. Like so.
Yeah. Staying with Derry and over to yourself now, Maria, for Glenmore. You are actually playing a Derry side this weekend as well in your Ulster semi-final. You play Newbridge, and again a club that we haven't really heard much about in recent years. Well, certainly, I haven't. Does it all go well, you think, for Glenmore? You're coming up against a team that hasn't been maybe beaten. Perhaps they have been beaten finalists in Derry, and I haven't been aware of it. But do you think you're probably going in and maybe as the favourites tag? Because last year you were the Ulster finalists. And you're back again going for another bite at that, so do you think is that going to carry that favourites tag in?
I think it's hard for an Armagh team to carry a favourites tag going up against the Derry team. Derry and Antrim are very superior whenever it comes to Camogie and hurling, so I think it's very hard. Newbridge, like years ago we had played Newbridge whenever there was the Ulster League that run before the Armagh League would have kicked off. We would have been at a par with Newbridge back then. Camogie and Derry's at a very high standard, so Newbridge coming out, like they had a hard game, and I know they had a hard game again Kilrea in the final, in the semi-final. They hammered Dungiven. Now we beat Dungiven, we didn't hammer them in 2016 in the Ulster Intermediate Club. They hammered them, like, so Newbridge are going to be good, and plus Malachy McToll, who was part of the management with Regina Og last year that beat us in the Ulster final, he's a Newbridge man. He coached at a stage with underage Camogie and Glenmore, so they'll know everything they need to know about Glenmore as well. Like, so I don't really think we'll be wearing the favourites tag going into the game. And something, it's not a tag we like wearing anyway.
Well, that's it, and you're quite right. It's just, I suppose, it's something for outside organisations or people to think who's going to be favourite. But you're quite right. You've crossed that line the same.
Yeah.
Teresa, CrossFit Lane, you're playing the Cavan Intermediate Champions, Kill, hopefully by name only. I've no doubt that the CrossFit Lane girls will have not pay much attention to the name that they're playing up against, and will go out to take their own scalp. And knowing Paul Munnan, he'll not be taking anything for granted anyway when it comes to getting ready for Kill. Have you any knowledge of what the setup is there, or I suppose what's the chances here? If Kill's watching, you're going to say you're obviously underdogs, I'm sure.
Absolutely. But no, in relation to what we know about them, I would know very little about them. I believe that there's a number of the girls that have been involved in Cavan success at intercounty level in the past number of years. I think most notably will be Emer Fitzpatrick, who seems to be exceptional and very accurate in relation to place ball. So obviously, you'd be highlighting that and keeping an eye out on that. But no, largely speaking, our focus will be on our own game and playing to our own strengths. And as you said, Paul will have the girls well prepared, and in relation to the whole club aspect, no stone will be left unturned. Yeah,
you were very impressive. Your fitness was very good. I thought you were very, I suppose, a bit of the dual, well, the same I suppose with Glenmore, the dual players. They've had maybe a bit of physicality that a single player might bring.
From the beginning of the year, both squads, actually both managements have worked side by side, and there was a collective approach to the fitness element and the strength and conditioning aspect of the training, which has been a massive boost, to both squads and to those dual players who aren't risking burnout then because they're out not as many nights during the week. If that makes sense. Yeah.
Okay. Well, it is a final, which brings a bit of added pressure. Cross, if I'm right, were the first Armagh team to win an Ulster club way back in 2000.
Not an All-Ireland club.
Sorry, that's right. Katie would have been with. That's right. You're right. Katie, sorry. Apologies to all my Katie friends. Katie dominated the scene there. You're quite right. And then Crosswood Lane come along in 2003 and
20 years ago.
That's 20 years. Well, that would have been a nice anniversary now, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I actually remember that.
It would be fantastic to go the whole way.
Well, we'll start with Ulster. Yes,
one step at a time. Yeah, that's 20 years ago this year. So
there you go.
I remember that. I was actually teaching.
I thought you were going to say you're in the pram.
No, I was teaching in Cross, which was my first teaching job back after being in America. And one of the girls who was in my class was playing in the Cross senior team.
You'll have to name her and she'll get it. Don't tell me now you forget her name.
Do you know how many children you go through in 20 years?
All right, that's okay. Said was Trish McVoy.
Trish would love that.
Yeah, well, it was. We all remember it was a great occasion now for Armagh. So good luck in that final. Damien, back to yourself, St Bridget's. I would have to probably say St Bridget's, in my opinion, is probably one of the underperforming clubs within Armagh for a number of years. You know, there's a great talent there. And you know, with the population that you have here within Armagh, you know, there's always this question as why is not St Bridget's pushing on, and you've probably struggled in recent years to have a consistent run of form. Definitely, as you said earlier, there's a great underage elevator coming in there, which probably has created this new senior team you have coming through. But what is a new management team? And I think you're maybe part of it. So give yourself
I would count I wouldn't count myself. Like there is a management team there who is Christy Keane, Catherine Rafferty, and Brenda Keane, and they have been there for the whole season. Just before the championship started, Christy gave me a phone and said, "Look, on match days, you wouldn't do me a favour. We just need an extra body here. Would you come in?" And at that stage, the County Underage Camogie had finished.
Right, okay.
So
you had time on your hands.
So a time on my hands between St Bridget's Under 16s had just finished, the County Underage Camogie was done, and I had a wee bit of time, and I was like, right, look, on match days I'll come in and give you a hand during the championship games. But that was really, the management team really is the three of them, Christy, Catherine and Brenda, and they've done amazingly well. Like they're well organised, they're very patient. Okay, and with the number of young players on the panel, like the panel wouldn't have a massive size, so maybe there's about 22, 23 players in total on the panel, and if you count out how many of them are young minors, there's maybe 10 of them. They have a lot of other commitments. Like there's a number of girls who only joined the senior panel after the under 16s won the championship this year, so they only joined the senior panel maybe a few weeks before, joined very late, but they had so many other commitments during the year between football and other camogie commitments, playing for the county and stuff, that really it was only time really for them to move in at that stage. But he's been amazingly patient at waiting till he was able to get everyone together, keeping the whole thing ticking along, making sure they had a number of players for every league match and getting the league matches played, and not worrying if he missed a few girls here or there because of other commitments. Just knew that they were always doing something, which was either improving their camogie or they were playing, because a lot of them are dual players, the same as the other two clubs. And some of that was to prevent any burnout, so that the younger girls weren't constantly being asked to double train or double play. If you had enough to play, then you keep on playing your matches, and then that's kind of developing the whole panel. There's no good a whole pile of girls playing under 16 camogie on a Tuesday night and then going and playing senior camogie on a Wednesday night if there's lots of seniors just sitting on the bench saying to let them play. You're better let the seniors go. The under 16s had a match the day before, and as the time came, the panel kind of gelled closer to when the championship was coming in.
Looking, watching that junior final, they looked like a group of girls that had a real good camaraderie between them, and a real good, even the warm-ups, St Bridget's looked very focused, and which is credit to the management.
To give them the dues, like Chrissy, Catherine and Brenda have been brilliant with them. So it is, and they're great with the older girls. Like remember, there's an awful lot of, the same as every other club, an awful lot of the older seniors have kids, and then you've that aspect to try and work out as well, and then the younger seniors are still at school and have other commitments. So really that's kind of how he's kept it together as the year went through, and allowed them all, like they've got a load of camogie, whether it was at their own age at under 16 or the seniors playing at senior. You're hoping that as time goes on, the next band, we have a couple of other good years coming through, hopefully, of underage players.
And your seniors are actually still quite young. They're not that.
Oh, they are. Like as I said, there's no great age bracket in the seniors. There's only a few of them into their 30s. Even some of the more experienced players, like Casey would count as an experienced player. Tierna Maxwell counts as experienced players, and they're only 21, 22, maybe Tierna's 24. And they're now experienced seniors in the panel. Hopefully it bodes well for the club, because there is an awful lot of work going on at the underage structures to try and get them through. But it's no different than any other club. When you get to 18, 19, 20, it's university and things like that take a big hit, maybe going away to university, and then maybe not coming back to Armagh again.
Yeah, which is your both matches of this weekend are 1 o'clock. It's a pity the fixtures are all set for, because it means you're splitting your supporters, which is a bit of a problem. So, speaking of which, then I'm just going to ask the question, because I know there was a lot of stuff on social media, and we don't want to say anything that Ulster Camogie or Ulster Ladies Gaelic Football will take offence with, but it was unfortunate where we looked at the fixtures that you're talking about, girls playing under 16 one night and then senior. It's probably something that ideally in the 2024 season that the codes can organise to make sure that we don't have. In that case, I think the original. Your ladies football and your camogies were supposed to play on the one day, both Ulster club games. So
well, they played, the ladies footballers played the week before the camogie final, and they weren't supposed to win. Clonagale was meant to beat them, and in the county camogie final, we weren't supposed to win.
Have you that in writing?
But everybody who's out there, the neutral and all, they shot Graham Moore down in both, and I suppose Graham Moore's good at ripping up all scripts. So. The ladies footballers won, and then a week later, girls, to their credit, didn't even drink. They went out after it, and they didn't take any alcohol or anything, because they were focused again on the camogie, and then won the camogie. And it was so disappointing from a club point of view that everything was so good within the club. Both groups were so, we were able to do this and we're doing it together, that they fire both games on the same weekend. It's not fair on the girls. It's not fair. They talk about player burnout and player welfare. Nobody cared about player welfare or player burnout, and the girls, to their credit, put on the jersey both days, and unfortunately the footballers got beat. But people don't care. People they need to care about players. You need to take that into consideration. Sit down and say, what if Graham Moore win here and what if Graham Moore win there? You have to have a scenario to back up what's going to happen. It's just not fair on players.
Yes, it's obviously not the first time it has happened, and presumably, unfortunately, it probably won't be the last either. It's just one of those things. It's just if God could create an extra couple of days in a week, and I don't know, that's maybe the only way around these things, because we've seen the season is so crammed, particularly the club season. I don't know.
At this time of the year,
that's another debate. This split season squeezes the club in, and there's so different schools of thoughts now. I'm going to come back then to talk about your 3 championships, because we're really interested in that. All our championships in the county had I think within 2 or 3 points between the teams. So within Armagh there's a great competition there. The 3 championship finals were 3 excellent games with very, very little between the teams. And then I'm going to look outside is whether or not, if we look at we've spoken earlier that you played last week Antrim, Lockheed. Lockheed have 2 senior teams, that's their seconds. And the Derry team, Antrim and Derry are both at senior, and then Armagh as a county kicks in beneath that. Whereas a number of years ago, there was only really one Ulster club, and everybody just went into it. So, what has happened over the last 15, 20 years? Is it that Antrim and Derry have kicked on, and Armagh as a county has, and other counties, not just Armagh, have stayed static? Because, Armagh seniors plays Antrim's intermediate, and it's the Derry intermediate down is the same as us. They're at senior, aren't they? Or is it Derry
down? Leitrim's in senior this year.
Yeah, Leitrim's in senior, but Kilcoo's in intermediate.
Right. So therefore, there are 3 Ulster counties that are above Armagh, I suppose. And I don't know, it's probably just a bit frustrating. And what's the solution? There are 3 experts here will solve Armagh's problems overnight. What is it? What has happened that have we slipped behind, or are they kicked on?
Well, one point that I know the county final was tight, and the other games weren't.
It's
so,
at senior, perhaps.
You know, at senior. So I'm just going by senior.
Yeah.
There was 2 points in the final, but Greenmore won every other game comfortably. So did Ballymacnabb. In the league, Greenmore hammered everybody. Bar Ballymacnabb beat us twice in the league. Again, it was only by a point or two. So there's nothing between them 2 times. But everybody else, to me now, there's a massive. So I think that has I don't know what the answer is to that there, but that's a massive thing. Like a few years ago, that wasn't the case. Whenever the championship draw has been made, anybody could have, anybody's name that was put in that hat could have won the championship. But this year, it was down to 2 times. At the start of the year, it was like Greenmore and Ballymacnabb will be in the county final.
It probably, in fairness, has been in the last 6 or 7 years.
Well, Greenmore and Ballymacnabb have from 2016. Like we won 3, Ballymacnabb won 3. We've now won 2. Yeah. Do you know, that's great for Greenmore and Ballymacnabb, but it's not good for our county.
Not good for the county, I suppose. Not good for the county.
And you can see, like, I remember.
You've just upset Katie and
Sorry.
Katie and Madden and all the teams out there.
But being honest, when I remember
down the next time you're in Katie.
When I came back, it was a very open championship. Like, it's 20 years ago since I came back from America, and 20 years ago, like Madden was winning 1 year, Katie was winning it, Tullysorn was winning it. Greenmore, Ballymacnabb were winning it.
Right.
You mean it was going around them all, and whoever was winning by a couple of points, but you were winning all your matches by a couple of points. It was real competitive, real hard hitting, and again, everyone kind of knew when the championship draw came through. If you check the league results, that those 2 top teams significantly higher than anyone else, and that's no disrespect to the other ones, because like I'm coming from a junior club who's just won a junior championship, and they're all them other clubs are at a much higher level than say St Bridget's are, but it's not fantastic for the progress of Armagh Camogie if 2 clubs dominate and are so far ahead as it appears. That's not to say it'll happen next year again, but in this year and the previous year they were just so far ahead of the other teams.
It's obviously something I suppose has to be within those clubs, I suppose, to raise it. In the intermediate, Teresa, if you want to, because I know the intermediate, or so the Division 1 league was quite competitive, because you actually finished well down on it.
We were towards the bottom of it, but I think that's to do with, you know, the schedule in the games, you know, holidays, work commitments and things like that there. The panel that you have, you know, if you have young girls playing, largely speaking, some days during the week you don't have them because they've work commitments and things like that, or school commitments and university commitments. So yeah, the Division 1 league was very, very competitive and a real mixed bag. You know, you couldn't necessarily look at the league tables and say, well, there's your intermediate champions as a result of that, which is a great position to be in. Just in relation to the senior and competing for senior and, you know, going forward, I think if you look at underage, you know, there's a good variety of teams coming through there at underage level, but that doesn't always translate to senior, and I think that's to do with retention of players and that key age of 16 to 18.
16 to 18 is massive.
Without a doubt, and I think it's to do with the games and the quality of games and the amount of games that girls get at that level. I think that's key to retaining the players as clubs, and then that hopefully will filter through to, you know, clubs competing more evenly at senior in the coming years.
Yeah, no, that is quite, but yeah, because at the underage levels, it's not Ballymacnabb and Greenmore that's dominating. It's
everybody.
Do you think that there's too many games or too little games at that 16,
at under 18,
17,
we're
18?
not. We won the under 18 Division 2 league this year and with 3 games. So and them games were spread out. We played 3 games over 6 months. Yeah. Do you know?
I have to say I would agree, Maria. I think it's 16 and 18. I know from I was involved with the under 16s a number of years back. Some very girls that are now playing with that senior panel and established players with the senior panel had 4 games in an entire season at under 16 level, and you know, even if you were to look at our Féile team that competed in the Féile 4 years ago, I think we've dropped 12 to 15 of those girls, you know, and to lose those girls at that age is crucial. Like 15 girls at that age, that's a full team.
That's a full team, that's right.
Yeah, and you know, if you
and they're only then, they're only 18 years old now, so yeah.
But everything's a squeeze though.
Yes.
Because by 16 they can play senior.
Yes.
And then it's all squeezed. And then if them girls are being looked, right, you need to play under 16 for your club. Right, oh God, you need to play minor for your club. Actually, no, we need you to play a senior for your club. And this doesn't happen at Camogie, this happens at ladies football as well. And most of our players, as we all said, are all dual. So the reality is when you're 16, you're out constantly. And I think that there plays into why there's not as many matches being played at their own ages, because they're worried about, actually, God, if we put in a ton of minor matches here, a ton of under 16 matches here, actually enough of these players are playing senior as well. Is there enough time between not playing county under 16, playing county minor?
Do we need to do? I think that the football, men's football, do something that you had, you know, in the rule in Camogie, if you're in your last year of under 16, you can play senior. If that rule was got rid of, would that help?
I think
that you must play. You're not allowed to play senior until.
Factors is actually the county setup. I think the fact that the county underage, under 14, under 16 runs on a round robin basis means that the girls are involved with playing a county level for an awful lot longer, which keeps them away from clubs, if that makes any sense. And that's an additional burnout, because they're training. Some of them feel the pressures not necessarily through clubs but through themselves to play and train with county and play and train with club at the same time. And then, as you say, when you add the dual aspect to that then as well, they could be out at least 6 times a week.
Yeah. So there's a lot of thought we need to sit
down. Under 18 is a big thing. So.
Yeah, because that's retention. Retention is under 18. So it is, because you could be 18 and not good enough to be in your senior team.
Yeah.
But then limited to amount of opportunities you get. But if you had an under 18 league, I don't know when you put it in the schedule, like when you put it in that you don't burn your players out. But that's the thing, because the girls who are really good at the last year of under 16, or maybe they weren't just good enough the last year of under 16, but they are the first year of minor. Well, they're away to your senior panel, and they might even get in game time with the seniors. But it's them next girls, and that there's where maybe the seconds teams in Lochgale, the seconds teams in some of the other clubs come in. But not every club has enough for a seconds team.
Yeah, I don't think no team in Armagh has staying that for a couple of years anyway. So Armagh Camogie, I think, was the last. But is this a problem just with girls? Because surely the men, the same problems in men's young footballers, young hurlers.
They're not allowed to play as early.
So maybe that's what I'm wondering.
Is that the men's?
I suppose because of the physicality side of it. But anyways, listen, ladies and gentlemen, here are 3 new additions to next year's fixtures and Armagh Strategic Committee. Thank you very much. Folks, I think that's us anyway wrapped up. Really enjoyed the conversation. Our time has flown, and I want to just thank again Teresa Fanthorpe Murphy from Crossmaglen, Damien Kirk, just the one name, Damien, yes. Yeah. From St Bridget's, and Marie Doyle McCann, Marie McCann Doyle, whatever way, what comes first, Doyle McCann from Grainmore. I want to wish for this weekend, it's St Bridget's and Grainmore out this weekend, Ulster semi and Ulster semi. Okay, so all details in the club Facebook and the Armagh Facebook. So get your tickets, folks, and try to split yourself in half, and split the family in half and support the 2 clubs. And then Crossmaglen is the following weekend, and you're in the Ulster final. So best of luck there. All right, so by the next time we get together, wouldn't it be lovely to have 3 Ulster champions sitting beside us? So again, thank you very much indeed. Thank you everybody for joining us, and we'll see you again next time, whatever that'll be.